Stone separators are used to separate the stones from the paddy, and here uh, we use the sheets which are perforated, and their surface is corrugated, and the paddy is supplied from here. The paddy which is to be separated from the stones is supplied from here, and because of the air movement from the bottom through these perforated pores, the paddy being lighter will rise, and the stones being heavier will remain attached to the palate, and at the same time reciprocating movements are given to this mixture from given to this mixture. And because of these reciprocating movements, the movement of stones will occur from this direction, and the movement of paddy uh, uh, occurs in this direction. So we can separate paddy from this side and stones from this side. So in this way we can clean the paddy from the stones, from the straw, from the dust, and as I have earlier discussed them in previous lecture. So now the paddy is ready for the husking. Now the paddy is ready for husking. So now paddy is ready for husking. So in husking, the paddy grain is uh, converted into brown rice. Only the husk is removed. So we have majorly two types of husking machines, and they are the impact. The first one is impact type paddy husker, uh, in which we use the impact force. We have a hammer type milling, which is placed in a cabin, and it is driven through motor. It's placed in a cabin. So when this rotates, when these hammers rotate, supplies from here. This is hopper. Paddy is supplied from here. When paddy comes in contact with this rotating impeller, this throws the paddy to the walls of this chamber. Remember, these walls are coated with the rubber rings. Because we know the paddy grains, if they will strike to the wall abruptly, they can break down into small parts, so we have to prevent that. For that purpose we have used the rubber rings, which becomes the cushion. So because of the circular motion of this impeller, this impeller throws the grain. Suppose if this is an impeller, and the grain comes contact from here, and it hits the grain in this direction, so it throws this grain to the wall. the grain hits to this wall, but the grain is not hit to the wall perpendicularly, rather uh, sorry, degree. It is not hit to the wall perpendicularly, rather it is thrown in this direction. The angle is not 90 degree, and because of this tilted angle, the grain, when the grain strikes to the wall, it slips down. It slips down. When the grain comes here, it slips down like this. Rather, if it would have been the perpendicular, the grain will have struck the wall, and then the compression and this impact force will broke the grain into smaller particles. But because of the circular motion, the angle is not 90 degree, so it slips down, and because of this slip, shear force occurs. So here in impact type husker, we have the impact force and we have shear force. Impact force plus shear force uh, removes the husk and produces the brown rice. Second type of machine is rubber roll machine. Rubber roll machine. The mechanism of rubber roll machine is here the two iron rolls are used. Two iron rolls are used which have been coated with the resilient rubber. Again, this is coated by rubber to provide cushion to the paddy grain when it comes contact. So when grain comes contact, when grain comes contact, coming contact between the two rolls, between the two rolls, so it will face the compression force, because the gap between the two rolls is narrow, and it is the gap is less than the diameter of this grain, so there will be a compression force. So because to prevent the grain from the breakage, the rubber rings are used. They have been covered. The iron rolls have been covered with the rubber rolls to prevent cushion while compressing the grain between these two rolls. Now, when these rolls move, they move in opposite direction, and the two rolls move in different speeds. So the one roll is faster. Suppose this is faster, and the second roll is slow. Its velocity is slow. So the because of the different speeds of two rolls, this is faster, this one is slow. When grain comes in contact with them, the faster roll will have more contact with the grain than the slow roller. So this will produce the shear force which will uh, broke, which will tear off the husk from the grain. So this is the mechanism of the rubber rolls, where the two forces are used to separate the uh, husk from the paddy and to produce the brown rice. Next step of modern rice milling is whitening, which is also known as the polishing. Whitening, also known as polishing. Whitening and polishing, uh, in this operation, uh, bran is removed. Bran is removed, and this brown rice is converted into white rice. So this is the aim. And this, along the bran, germ is also removed, which is also a part of the grain. So here we also, the machine which is used here, which is uh, very famous, vertical abrasive whitening cone. In this machine there is a cone, iron cone, which is having a rough surface, and this cone is rotated through a shaft which is motor driven, and this shaft rotates the cone, and this iron cone is placed in a cage. Let me change the color. It's placed in the cage, and this cage is having the porous surface. This cage is made up of iron, and this is a stationary, and in this cage the surface is porous. When this rotates, the grains between, this is the hopper, brown rice is placed from here, and this brown rice gets filled between this gap, and when this rotates, the inner cone, when rotates, the grains will face the friction between the corrosive nature, between the corrugated nature of this inner cone and the outer cage, which is a porous. And the cage, I will draw the cage here. The cage, it has the porous surface. Also, it has the rubber brakes placed between, and when the grain comes in contact uh, with these rubber brakes, the grain, like this, the grain rotates. Because of the rotating force of this cone, the grain also rotates because of the corrugated surface of the cone, which scrubs the outer layer of the grain and removes the bran from this brown rice, and that bran uh, gets out from the uh, this porous cage, and the brown rice, because of the gravity, comes down, and the white rice, because of the heavy nature, comes down and through, and at the bottom, white rice comes and is collected in the bottom of